Welcome back to the Proposal Pulse. My name is Rachelle Ray, and I'm the head of AEC Marketing Innovation here at Open Asset. And today I'm going to be talking to you about 7 tips to champion your proposal team. Something I hear a lot when I talk to marketers is how do we get firm buy-in? How do we get leadership to listen to us? How do we get our SMEs, our technical team, to play nice with us, to participate in the process, or to engage in marketing at all? So these are tips that are going to be really helpful for getting leadership on your side, for maybe changing firm culture, and for getting those SMEs to finally check in to the proposal and the marketing processes that you need them to. Tip number 1 is show the business impact of proposals and marketing. We know what we do, but marketing tends to have a PR problem in that so many of our non-marketing friends, non-marketing staff, leadership, technical engineers, architects, whoever it is, think that we just run off into the corner and do some sort of magic. We make things pretty, we magically go win work, and then we come back and ask for our next assignment. That's a problem. We need to be tracking data. We need to look at our win rates. We need to understand how many bids and proposals we are putting together a month, a year, across the team per individual. And then we need to tie that data to dollar signs, because dollar signs is how leadership speaks. If we can tie to revenue, then we are going to set ourselves up for better outcomes. If we can highlight how a well-organized process or well-organized content and assets have improved the work that we do and led to an increase in revenue, then we're going to be setting ourselves up for success. So, for example, if you have a digital asset manager, you've implemented templates, or you had a really innovative collaborative approach to a past proposal, and you can show leadership like, hey, because we now have this DAM or these templates, I work 20% faster on proposals, which means I can spend more, that 20% time, I can reinvest into that proposal to put strategy front and center, so we're winning more. Then you have major case for most things in marketing, right? You are now a powerhouse, not just a magician in the corner. So tip number 2 is similar, right? We're going to use data to support our case. We need to track metrics. And what these look like will be different for each team, but think about things like proposals submitted, time spent per proposal, time spent to first draft, and number of rush requests. How many of your RFPs actually go through a go, no-go? How many of them are no-go'd and then re-go'd, causing problems? Track all of this information. And again, think about ways that you can tie it to those dollar signs, tie it to revenue. You can do that by identifying inefficiencies in the process. Maybe it took you extra time to get something done because you were searching for a particular piece of content, an image that somebody wanted. Maybe you found 2 different sources of information. This project was both $10 million and $20 million. Which one actually is it? Where is our source of truth? And so maybe you submitted something incorrect and leadership caught it. Use those inefficiencies to justify an investment in a digital asset manager or a process improvement or some sort of tool that's going to make things better for not just you, but the whole team. That's also very important because proposals are not just marketing. Proposals are technical team members and leadership as well. So if we can show that it's going to improve for all of us, that's great. And the way we tie that back to revenue, hey, if I can find my stuff more efficiently and I can identify exactly how much this project costs without having to go back to the project manager and ask them to hunt through their files to then confirm whether it was 10 million or 20 million, I am returning that person to a billable project, right? If they're working on billable projects and they're not doing overhead, the firm is making more money. Tip number 3, set boundaries and protect your team's time. I know this is very, very hard for marketers. And part of it is the nature of the role. We can't really control when RFPs drop. We can't really control for when clients send annoying addenda or disruptive portals maybe crashing, things like that. What we can control for are our own processes and how we interact with our team and how we encourage our team to interact with us. That means establishing a very strong go, no-go process, an intake process for any marketing assignment, actually. This helps us prevent last-minute chaos. So if someone comes to us and says, I just found this RFP, it's due on Monday, and you look at the calendar and it's Thursday, there's no way. There's no way you could do that. And there needs to be a process for you to say that without just gut checking and saying there's no way. You need to have a process that looks at your available resources, your available time, other commitments, so you can go back to that person and say, I would really love to help you with this, but there's no room in the schedule. We don't have the resources to accommodate. If someone comes to you and says, hey, I have a presentation at the local college tomorrow, can you reformat this deck for me? Having a steady, consistent intake process for that allows you to say, would love to do that. It takes X amount of time, or I don't have the resources for this, or the correct resource is to ask this person or go through this process to have that done. It helps free up your time. It makes things clearer for you and for the person requesting this service, and that overall just leads to a better relationship across the board. How do we get this magic to happen? Because that is magic, right? We have to encourage leadership to respect the time required for high quality work, high quality proposals, high quality collateral events, whatever it is. And that can be difficult, but we have set our stage already by tracking those metrics, by looking at revenue. If we can say, great example, you are working on a $75 million contract. Someone shows up on Thursday and says, I have this proposal, it's due Monday, we have to work on it, but it's only for a $50,000 contract. You can show that that took you away if you had to pick up that assignment and you lost the $75 million contract. You can show that your resources were diverted, therefore contributing most likely to the loss of this contract. Showing leadership that you are very good at what you do, but you have to have the time, the space, and the resources to do it will help them buy in to your team and protect you. Tip 4, securing buy-in for better tools and processes. Okay, so we have leadership on your side. They understand and respect that you're not just doing magic in the corner. We need to show them why it looks like magic in the corner. Maybe they understand that that's not what it is, but they still don't quite understand what we're doing over there. So we need to position our tools not as nice to haves, but as productivity boosters, efficiency enhancers. I love to look back on when InDesign was first being adopted. Yes, I've been in the industry that long. InDesign was being adopted by a bunch of companies, and it was a nice to have because we were doing great in Word or PowerPoint or Publisher or whatever it was. But there was a very clear division between companies that had adopted this nice to have and were now showing off these beautiful professional looking proposals compared to the old style, like words crammed into a Microsoft Word document in like 8-point font all the way to the margins. There was a readability and a professionalism aspect there that elevated those companies. Now we have automation tools, we have DAMs, we have amazing things at our disposal that are not nice to haves. They are critical to solving efficiencies, right? For example, you can show how a well-managed DAM, which well-managed includes regular audits, not just by a single marketer or knowledge manager, but by users, that reduces the time wasted searching for assets. It becomes your source of truth, and it improves your content consistency. You're not going to that project manager to confirm that this is a $20 million project anymore. You have everything you need right where you need it when you need it. Tip 5. Strengthen cross-department collaboration. I'm going to say it one more time. We have a PR problem. Marketing is sometimes divorced from the rest of the company, and we have to take it upon ourselves to educate our SMEs and our leadership on the role of proposal and marketing teams in winning work. We don't just make things look good, right? We don't just make it pretty. We don't just go to events and hang out with our friends. We are building strategic relationships. Yes, making things look good, but in a very intentional way. There is a user experience that is happening when you're reading our proposals. We are intentionally guiding the reviewer to look at specific things on the page to highlight important information to make sure that they are walking away with the right message. we need to show what we do. And we need to show that things that we have changed in our process or in our tools are resulting in better wins, more wins, higher quality wins. Maybe we're going after increased contracts or different types of contracts. Maybe we've expanded either geographically or into a new market sector as a result of the work that marketing has put in. Again, going back to those metrics, if you can track that and then go to leadership and say, we had a banner year, and here's why we have secured, these 5 key contracts in this new market sector that you wanted to go after, then you're positioning yourself as a very strong strategic partner within the firm and not just a document magician that does things in the corner. Right? Another way to do this is to build very strong relationships with your SMEs, your project managers, your architects, your engineers, your construction staff, and leadership. Remember that they are also human. They're just like you. They have too many things going on. They have crazy calendars. They are also trying to balance work and life. Unfortunately, AEC has a lot of seller doers. So they're trying to balance the seller doer and their productivity the same way that we are. So being able to extend that kind of olive branch and say, I see you. How can I help you help me? Can I make things easier? Can I send you content as a start for this proposal? Can I find an asset for you that's going to make things easier for you to put it in your site plan or put it in your technical approach and then send that to me? Right? That builds strong relationships. And when we have those strong relationships, we can secure earlier engagement in the proposal process. When we show our SMEs how valuable they are within the proposal process, they start to take ownership of it as well. And when they are owning the process and they are invested in the win, they're also invested in our success, which means they become allies for helping us to secure the tools that we need and the resources that we need, whether that's something software related or staff related. Tip number 6. Push for recognition and career growth. AEC is a tricky industry where, for some reason, we are not always given a seat at the leadership table. So we have to take it. We have to advocate for it. And what tends to happen is technical staff have very clear degrees and certifications and licenses that say, I am an expert in what I do. Marketing doesn't always have that, but we do. We do have trainings. We do have certifications. We can go to SMPS and get our CPSM. We can go get micro certifications on things like AI or content management or a million other marketing things. Those are very, very valuable. And if we can go get those by advocating to attend industry conferences or receive training, whether that's in person through workshops or online, then we can take those skills, we can implement them into our work, and we can show leadership, hey, because I know how to do this, because I am a subject matter expert in marketing, in copywriting, in graphic design, in event planning, whatever it is, in proposals, I need to have a seat at the table where we are having strategic discussions about these things. I need to be included when you are visioning and planning and goal setting for the company, because I can help you reach those goals faster, more efficiently, because of the skill set I bring. So it's really important that we push for ourselves, that we stand up for ourselves, and that we go out and build ourselves up with the training and skills that we need and then demonstrate their impact. And we do have to jump a few extra hurdles because it's not as clear as being a registered architect or professional engineer, but it is just as important. And finally, tip number 7, manage burnout and advocate for realistic workloads. Again, I know this is really hard, but we have to promote a culture of being less reactive and more strategic, especially around proposal planning. It helps no one, not you, not the firm, to say yes to every single pursuit that comes in the door, to say yes to the last minute requests because some crazy thing happened. Yes, sometimes the client forgets that they didn't send us the RFP and they were supposed to. Yes, sometimes we find something that is very important and got released earlier than we expected it and we saw it late. Things happen, but we need to understand our limitations. We need to communicate them. And we need to build a culture that allows us to look at these things very critically and say, this was an issue, we don't have enough time for it, but it is strategic, so we're going to make it happen. Or, no, this is a fire drill that's just going to cause problems and it's going to drain resources and the end result product is not going to be something that any of us are proud of. This is not what we want to show the client. If you have to say it 1,000 times, less reactive, more strategic, less reactive, more strategic, Be annoying until it imprints in the minds of the entire team, technical and leadership. Just keep saying it and keep demonstrating what being reactive does to the company. Keep bringing up those inefficiencies, keep bringing up that lost revenue until you can make your case for correcting that. And of course, encourage leadership to celebrate the wins, especially those proposal wins, big and small, and celebrate everyone involved. Sometimes sales, business development is the only one who gets recognized for a win. Sometimes it's just the technical team. But all of us, marketing included, put effort into securing a contract, into securing that win. And so we need leadership to come in and say, great job, everyone, for getting us to this point, because that's going to boost morale. It's again going to encourage everyone to invest in the process and engage in it. And that's going to make it better for all of us. So consider internal awards or maybe bonuses tied to proposal success in a way that makes sense for your team. There are many ways to manage your burnout, to advocate for realistic workloads, to advocate for your team. These are just a couple. I could talk about this all day, but that's all we have. So as always, thank you for joining me today. I hope these tips have been really helpful, and I will see you next time for another episode of the Proposal Pulse. If you enjoyed these tips, we have made them into a downloadable. Head on over to openasset.com and check out the downloadable in our resources.